Change Conference starts in Sharm el-Sheikh today. Women's Peace and Humanitarian Fund endorsed proposals of displaced females in 3 governorates. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English News with me, Shazad Abdelbay. The U.S. urged the Houthis to prioritize peace in Yemen. Such a call came in a statement by the U.S. State Department, which also stressed the need to revive truce efforts in the country. This report has more details.
Washington retooled its call on the Iran-backed Houthi militias to choose peace and extend and expand the nationwide truce in Yemen. U.S. Special Envoy for Yemen, Tim Lenderking, kicked off a visit to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates to support efforts to renew and expand the UN-mediated truce in Yemen. According to a State Department statement, the Houthi are urged to cooperate with the UN and listen to Yemenis' appeals for peace. The only path forward to ending 8 years of destructive war is through a durable ceasefire and political settlement that allows Yemenis to determine the future of their country. Meanwhile, the United Nations accused the Houthis of committing war crimes in Yemen since the expiry of the truce on October 2nd. The UN Human Rights Office said that it has verified 3 incidents of shelling in government-controlled areas that killed a boy and a man and wounded others, as well as 3 incidents of sniper shootings attributing the attack to the Houthis. Jeremy Lawrence, a spokesperson for the UN High Commissioner, said, "We are gravely concerned for the safety and security of civilians. The deliberate targeting of civilians and civilian objects is prohibited by international law and constitutes a war crime." A UN spokesperson told the same Geneva briefing that efforts were continuing to revive the truce deal. Besides, official Yemeni sources confirmed that 5 civilians, including 2 children and a woman, were wounded in Houthi shelling south and west of Taiz city. The Houthis, meanwhile, questions Washington's call for peace, accusing it from impeding peace efforts and always siding with war. The UN envoy to Yemen, Hans Grundberg, has recently completed a tour of the region. He met with the Houthi officials in Oman, and his office did not release a statement on the outcomes of his trip. The envoy had made proposals to expand and extend the truce to which the government had agreed to. The Houthis, however, rejected the extension because they made additional demands with the aim of making economic and political gains. Chairman of the Presidential Leadership Council, Dr. Rashad Al-Alimi, meanwhile met in Riyadh with U.S. Ambassador Stephen Fagan to discuss the latest developments in Yemen and the impact of the Houthi escalation and their obstruction of the extension of the truce. Al-Alimi highlighted the Council's backing of Grundberg's efforts, and he stressed that the Council will always positively approach everything that favors the people throughout Yemen. The world is more aware of the danger of Houthis pose in the region and world. It's aware that they are not serious about ending the suffering of Yemeni people, as demonstrated in their obstruction of peace efforts.
A seminar was held today in Hodeidah on the International Day for the Prevention of Environment Practice in War. The seminar was attended by the Deputy of the Public Authority for Environmental Protection and aimed to preserve the agricultural and marine environment. A film was screened showing thousands of mines planted by the Houthis on farming lands to threaten people and the international shipping.
Due
to the importance of Al-Hodeidah and the crisis it's suffering after the war ignited by the Houthi militia, planting the ground and the sea by mines, and the result of the global catastrophe of Safar caused by the militia, which cut off the livelihood for the simple citizen. The Houthi militia planted huge amounts of mines, so that during the previous period, more than 6,000 mines have been extracted by Massam team and the joint forces. The seminar covered 2 topics. The first was about the effects of mines on the human and the environment, and the second one was about Safar's affection on the Red Sea. But the Houthi militia is insisting on continuing to use the environment in armed conflicts and destroying the infrastructure. So we call on the United Nations to prevent using the environment in the conflicts.
The United Nations Climate Change Conference began today in Sharm el-Sheikh. The conference aims to coordinate global efforts to address climate change and its impact on the future of the planet. This report has more details.
Climate Conference COP27 in its 27th session entitled The Defining Moment in dealing with the issue of climate change in Sharm el-Sheikh at the Arab Republic of Egypt. The conference will be attended by the parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It focuses on moving from negotiations and planning to implementation of the promises and pledges made in the Paris Agreement and Glasgow Charter. This came amid the increase of high frequency of the emergence of severe weather, such as heat waves, droughts, torrential rains, floods, hurricanes and fires. Moreover, global warming and disruption of jet streams, whose effects are most frequent, and poor countries suffer from the effects, while rich countries are not safe from extreme weather fluctuations. The conference aims to providing $100 billion annually to finance climate change adaptation projects, in addition to limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial temperatures, phasing out the use of coal, which is one of the most polluting fossil fuels, stop deforestation by 2030, and reduce emissions by 30% for the same year. The pledges didn't rise to the required level of implementation, according to environmental reports. Observers attributed the reason for not implementing the provisions of the previous summit to urgent geopolitical changes that befell the world countries, the different responsibilities of the climate crisis, and the joint crisis of its repercussions make COP27 a hope towards limiting the rising global temperatures and human activity affecting the climate and reducing greenhouse gas emissions to avoid the catastrophic effects of climate change.
A UN official was briefed on the poor humanitarian conditions of the displaced in a camp in Ma'rib. 50% of the displaced families have not been put in the lists of beneficiaries of the World Food Programme. In the meeting, the representative of the World Food Programme in Yemen toured the camp and was briefed on the poor quality of life in displaced communities' camps. In Taz, the concluding event for approving projects of displaced women was organized. The projects represent displaced women from Sana'a, Taz, and Hodeidah. This report has more details.
In the city of El Turba, 6 projects were selected to support displaced women. The work of this project, which is implemented in partnership with UN Women and funded by the Women's Fund for Peace and Humanitarian Action, has gone through a number of stages, starting from collecting information and reaching out to 50 displaced women affected by the war and young women in the host community, who received extensive training in a number of professional skills and technology. And then 10 projects were presented today in the conference in order to select 6 projects that qualify for support and follow-up in their development, which contributes to creating opportunities for economic empowerment of women and to provide support for entrepreneurship projects.
Economic empowerment is among the priorities of our work at the United Nations for Women, as we believe that one of the most important sources of strength for a personality is its economic independence. Women have played an important economic role during the years of war and conflict. Women have tolerated double burdens as a result of war and displacement, and have always been the safety for their small family and surrounding community.
Just as we in UN Women are concerned with the economic aspect, we are also working to press for real opportunities for women and youth to participate effectively in decision-making and the political process. We have implemented a number of campaigns within the work of the 9 Women and Youth Group, which created a platform for exchanging women's experiences with youth. There are no loss accounts in these projects, as everyone benefited from rehabilitation, training, capacity building, and technical support.
The goal of selecting 6 projects to continue working with them intensively is to create competition and stimulate creativity. And this must be the starting point and change for the participating girls towards leadership in various fields. It's worth mentioning that the trainings for creative women who are displaced in the fields of labor market are aimed at those who have talent in the field of writing, photography, design, and entrepreneurship. The program aims to provide them with new technical skills and give the trainees training in accounting, management, designing business identities, legal concepts for managing small projects, raise awareness, and develop the capabilities of girls to use the internet. Today, 6 projects will be selected to support them financially and technically.
نزحنا 7 مرات من مكان لمكان وانقطعت عن الدراسة بسبب النزوح.
أبرز التحديات التي يواجهها التسرب من التعليم، انقطاعهم عن العملية التعليمية بسبب النزوح المتكرر والحروب وبعد المدارس من المخيمات وعدم وجود وثائق أو رقم المدرسي.
The air defenses of the government forces intercepted a Houthi drone in Al Jawf. A military source said that the air defenses shot down the Houthi drone while it was flying east of the city of Al Hazm. This comes a day after a drone was brought down in northwest of Ma'rib. Coming next in the news. Thousands of Yemenis with kidney failure need urgent dialysis treatment.
كل ما نزحنا من نزحة وانهم فوقنا هدموا بيوتنا. نزحت أنا وأنا بنتي بنت 7 أشهر اللي على زوجي. بعدها تمنا من نزح في نزوح. وقبل الفريق معرض منه. صيحنا زوجي وصار وداه هنا. صار مخيم. وقبل الفريق اللي هنا وأنا وجيعي في الخيمة. وعانني البنات ودني العلاج. ساعدني لما دخلني الشبكة. طولي علاج فيتامينات. جاتنا الأمطار. دخلت السيول وأنا والدة. دخلت السيل ما دهنت بالسيل له وتحتي وأنا والدة. ما قلت إلا يومين.
ولا عاد حتى قدرت أشل عيالي ما بلاتي يا بنت الصغيرة اللي ترضع شليتها وإحنا والله نحنا حالتنا حالة وما عاد إلا شلونا من رفعونا لمكان عالي. ووصل اليوم جسنا لنا 3 أيام والله نحنا في العرب وجاونا الفريق حقهم حق الاستجابة. والله ما قصروا قدمونا من كل شيء.
Welcome back. The Prime Minister Ma'in Abdel Malik issued a decision to form the Supreme Committee for the state budgets for next year. This came in light of the state's economic, financial, and monetary policies and in accordance with the economic stability. The EU contributed €1 million to UNICEF to support the basic nutrition services in Yemen. This funding is going to benefit more than 120,000 children under the age of 5 and 60,000 pregnant women by providing nutrition services that focus on implementing interventions in 10 districts in 3 governorates. The Houthi militia imposed a new rise in the price of gas cylinders in Ib. In addition, local sources said that the price of the gas cylinder reached more than 7,000 riyals. The gas company in Ma'rib sells a gas cylinder weighing 25 kilograms for 1,500 riyals. Houthis continue to loot private and public properties in Sana'a and their areas under their control. This report has more details.
At a time when merchants and capitalists in Sana'a complained about deterioration and collapse of their commercial activities and their exposure to bankruptcy as a result of systematic extortion by Houthi group, merchants and shop owners were surprised by new trends through which the terrorist groups seek to transform extortion and looting from seasonal operations and sectarian occasions that is held from time to time to regular and permanent blackmail operations. The militia begins a comprehensive inventory of property and goods its own and deals with its real owners as if they were just its workers. Furthermore, they integrated data about the owners of real estate in which these stores are located, which indicates that these stores will fall under the threat of extortion that the militia carries out from time to time in Sana'a and the rest of the areas under the control of Houthi militia. Through the inventory process, to reach all commercial and social segments, share their livelihood and share their money, noting that the extortion and looting that they are subjected to on occasions and seasonal events, it will turn into a fixed right that will be fulfilled and they will be obliged to pay it and punish them if they are late in payment.
ناس ندي ماء من الغلا والغلا بعيد كنا ندي بالدواب نعبي ماء ورجعنا. ننزل الساعة 5 رجعنا الساعة 9.
ما يجي لنا ظهر لأنه زحمة ما حد يخلي الجهل يغرق وإحنا تعبنا زيادة.
وكنت أحس صدري يوجعني وعز قدرك ركبي يوجعيني.
كنا ما نستخدم حتى مقص أولادنا إلا يعني بأيام معدودة.
كنت أغيب على المدرسة لأن كنت أروح الديمة.
حتى وإن كان يجي الأمطار تروح هدر لأنه ما في معي خزانة.
الوقت نشتري ب30,000 هي معها استهلاك ما يغلقش معها الشهر.
بس راح تطلب الله ولا أي حاجة، عاملة كل شغلك الماء.
A breast cancer awareness campaign was concluded today in Hadramaut. The Undersecretary for the Affairs of the Valley stressed the importance of the campaign to give community awareness that contributes to the early detection of breast cancer, while the Director of the National Cancer Center explained that the cases of cancer amounted to 1,104 cases, including 447 breast cancer. The World Health Organization warned that thousands of Yemenis with kidney failure diseases need dialysis treatment. This report has more details.
Living with kidney disease is never easy, with patients not only subjected to the pain of the disease, but also to the constant worrying about the overwhelming financial cost of the treatment. Dialysis treatment is not only challenging for patients, but also for the dialysis centers that need regular funding to stay open. However, with the escalation of the conflict that is further deepening the catastrophic situation, the needs remain severe and what has been provided is never enough. The World Health Organization confirmed that thousands of Yemeni kidney patients need dialysis treatment in order to survive and maintain their health. In a statement, the World Health Organization stated that it continues in partnership with King Salman Center for Relief and Humanitarian Action to provide health facilities with dialysis equipment, supplies, and financial support that are necessary to continue providing dialysis services to nearly 3,500 patients across the country. It added that it supports 27 dialysis centers across Yemen, with weekly treatments funded by 90 to 100%, and provides approximately 37,300 dialysis sessions to Yemeni patients each month at very little or no financial cost. Many of the Yemeni patients have to take long, difficult, and expensive trips twice a week in order to reach dialysis centers, receive treatment, and return to their homes. The cost of dialysis treatment is very high, amounting to about $50 per session, and the current number of patients and deaths due to kidney failure mean that the current needs for dialysis treatments are about 5 times higher than what this support can cover. Last week, the Yemeni Ministry of Health announced that there is a shortage of dialysis materials in its areas of control, after distress calls were made by a number of dialysis centers and deliberated government raids due to the lack of dialysis supplies. The current interventions by the World Health Organization are working to relieve pressure on healthcare facilities in Yemen, where many patients with chronic diseases are unable to obtain life-saving treatments.
Here is a reminder of the main headlines. The U.S. urges the Houthis to prioritize peace in Yemen. The United Nations Climate Change Conference starts in Sharm el-Sheikh today. Women's Peace and Humanitarian Fund endorsed proposals of displaced females in 3 governorates. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.